Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
Season 1, episode 3, 4, and 5.
All right. I think I'm liking starting with you because I feel like you've never seen it, so you're going to have more unique thoughts than I will. As soon as I saw Dawson's Creek pop up on Hulu, I had no real desire to rewatch it. I don't even know what happened that I did start rewatching it, but I did.
I mean, you're probably sort of being reminded of experiences that you had when you were in the 90s, not when you were 90, in the late 90s, when you were 18, however old you were.
Victoria's sober.
I had like 2 sips of wine. Very tired. I'm just watching it from an adult perspective.
Yeah.
You know, all these like stupid 90s teenagers doing stupid 90s things. And being way too dramatic. Way too
dramatic. The run-on sentences. I guess they're not run-on sentences, but just like the length of sentences that one character says from time to time. Like Joey always says these sentences that seem to go on forever.
Yeah.
And she's always making up stories in her head to try and explain to Dawson how his version of things is so way off and hers is more likely to become true. She's very cynical for such a young person.
She is very cynical. She's also very perceptive. Dawson's kind of naive. He's got his head in the clouds and is also up his ass at the same time. I don't know how that works. But, you know, Joey's mom died and her dad is in prison, so probably be cynical.
She's probably,
too.
Yeah, her character's dealt with some more hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
Up to this point, Dawson's biggest concern is his parents having an affair. Like, that's his only drama. And it's not even really his. I mean, I guess it is because it's his parents, but still, it's like...
Yeah, I guess it gets revealed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't really see it in episode 3, right? I mean, episode 3, I feel, is kind of like a buffer episode. Like, things happen, but not like...
Yeah, nothing that's like canon for...
Right.
For the whole show. I mean, Joey meets some...
Like, random dude.
Random rich dude, and, like, that she sees on his, like, boat, his sailboat that's docked at the seafood restaurant where she works, and he's standing on it playing a violin.
Very beautifully.
And his name is, like, Anderson.
Anderson Crawford. Don't trust a guy who has 2 first names. His name is 2 first names, Anderson Crawford. Although, his sound more like last names.
Yeah, it's 2 last names.
2 last names.
Anderson. Yeah, and then she, like, pretends to be somebody else. And then
it's that classic, like, girl from the wrong side of the tracks thing. You know, like, she thinks that if she, like, revealed to this, like, fling that she's about to have, she, like, says, I'm poor, I work in a local restaurant.
My sister's pregnant and unmarried by a black guy.
My mom's dead, my dad's in prison. Anderson would be like, I'm out of here.
Maybe he'd be into it.
Right? Little bad girl action.
Yeah. Slumming it.
He's like the goody two-shoe boy who comes from, where did you say he's like out from boarding school or something?
Yeah.
For a little bit.
I don't know. I forget where he was from. Connecticut, probably. They sailed up to, or down to Massachusetts to...
With his parents for the weekend.
Yeah, to go antiquing.
Oh, right. They're going antiquing. His parents are looking for a chair.
His parents are 2 gay men, apparently.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's the only thing. Also, like, Pacey and Tamara are back to their antics.
Yeah, so Pacey, like, manipulates her into tutoring him.
Right. And she agrees to it.
Yeah, well, she's into it. She's trying to resist it, but, she's child predator all the way.
Yeah.
Because I think by the end of that episode, or episode 4, they're, like, full-on, like, boyfriend and girlfriend. Even though she's, like, 40.
Well, right, because...
And he's 15.
Wait, is this the episode where he accidentally gets taped by Dawson?
I don't remember. All 3 episodes are just one big one to me, but...
Yeah.
He...
Right, so in episode 3, that's when... In part of this episode, Dawson is able to somehow insert himself into the film class and, like, and actually be able to contribute. And I can't tell, right? I can't, because I can't remember. This may or may not be the last time we see #Team Cliff.
Yeah, I forgot to see how many episodes he was in.
Cliff is in this episode as the producer, director of the class film.
Football movie.
Football movie. What was it called? Something golden something. Helmets of gold or...
Helmets of glory.
Glory! Helmets of Glory. And Jen's like, Cliff gives her a role in the film, and Dawson's like, God, why are you in this dumb film? And she's like, because I want to see you. Yeah. I want to be wherever you are. And so in that little exchange, Dawson's like, if we get out of here in time, let's go film the what does he call it?
The golden hour.
Let's go film the golden hour. And I guess it's a scene in his movie where he needs, like, sunset light. So they're able to go film the golden hour. There's one little part where Jen gets upset with Dawson because he lets the camera continue rolling. And Jen's like, what are you doing? You're filming us kissing.
Yeah, that was
you pervert.
So Dawson makes this huge deal and puts all this pressure on, like, their first kiss. And just builds it up to be this thing, and it, like, freaks him. He, like, freaks himself out. It freaks her out. And then, yeah, he films her in the scene, and then he's like, perfect. And then he, like, goes in for the kiss, but he's left the camera on, which I never really explained why, because she's like, what are you doing? And he was just like, oh, I'm trying to set up this perfect moment. But I'm like, this doesn't explain why you're filming it, because you want to watch it later? Like,
yeah, he wants to, like, immortalize it forever on film.
Oh God!
Because he's a film guy. He's an aspiring filmmaker.
Yeah. So they hear somebody coming while they're filming
because they're on property that they shouldn't be on. They're like trespassing.
So they run and hide, and then he leaves the camera and his monitor there for some reason. And
he kind of moves it out of the way a little bit,
and
he tries to hide it.
They go and they watch the footage later. And it's Tamara, Mrs. Jacobs.
They can only see her face.
Getting it on with somebody.
Getting it on. At the end of episode 1, or the end of episode 3, we see Tamara and Pacey, like, spooning after their lovemaking. That's how the episode ends.
Ugh, gross.
And so that's how episode 4 opens up, with Dawson reviewing the tape from the night before. They're watching it, Dawson and Joey, and they're like, oh my God, that woman looks familiar. Oh my God, it's Miss Jacobs. Oh my God, who's the dude? And then Pacey freaks out.
He eventually admits to his friends that it was him.
He only admits it to Dawson.
Oh, they don't all figure it out?
No.
Oh, just Dawson.
At least not yet. They don't figure out. He only tells Dawson.
What does Dawson do? I can't remember.
Dawson's just like, I can't find a word to describe what I'm feeling right now about what you're telling me. Any other high school boy in real life would have been like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, Dawson's so idealistic, though. I think he feels like it's not a conquest to sleep with the teacher. It's like a moral, which it is. Dawson's actually right on this one.
It totally is. Right. But I'm talking about, like, the guys that we went to high school with.
Yeah, they were all disgusting.
They probably would have been like, yeah, man, she's hot. I would bang her too.
Ugh. Yeah, and then there's a scene, I think, in the next episode where, like, Pacey is at her house, at Miss Jacobs' house.
Yeah, they're just, like, hanging out in her bedroom.
Yeah, they're doing, like, like they're 4 months in relationship
acting like
stuff.
they're in a relationship.
And he's like, "Oh, how old are you? 35?" And she's like, something like that. Like, he doesn't even know how old she is. It's so weird. And it's so weird how casual they are about it. And it's so weird that they've, like...
Oh, wait, can I see this?
Kept it up as a thing.
Yeah, I have to make note that in episode 3, the only song that really popped out at me was, I'm pretty sure it's a song by the Gin Blossoms. Again, another song that I loved in high school. I loved the Gin Blossoms. I probably still have bad taste in music. I mean, come on. I one of my favorite bands in high school was NSYNC.
Oh, yeah.
Is it this song? Let's see. No, not that song. Maybe it's not the Gin Blossoms. Man, I really want to figure this out now, too.
I think I was listening to Sublime.
Oh, Toad the Wet Sprocket. That's what it is. All I Want. I used to confuse Toad the Wet Sprocket and the Toadies.
Makes sense.
They're so totally different bands, though.
Yeah, but they have the same stupid name.
Let's see if you recognize this song. What song? Oh, All I Want. It's gonna have a long fucking intro.
Nothing so loud.
Mm-hmm. Yes! I like this song. Alright, so that's what it was. It wasn't the Gin Blossoms. It was Toad, the Wet Sprocket, All I Want. Is that what it was? Is that what I said? Yeah. Yeah, that's the song that's playing in the background when all the kissing goes down. So everyone kisses in this episode. I don't think we've seen any kisses yet, except between Pacey and Tamara. So Joey kisses random boy, Anderson Crawford.
Uh-huh.
Dawson and Jen kiss for the first time.
Wait, no. Joey and Anderson Crawford don't kiss. I think he goes in for a kiss.
No, they kiss at the very end, like when he's leaving, when his family's leaving Capeside.
Okay.
Yeah, they kiss.
She like botches. She tells him some restaurant.
Right.
She's like, I'm an East Side
girl.
And he's like, lying bitch. But let me give you my phone number anyways, because I don't care.
So they kiss, and then we never see Anderson Crawford again. Dawson and Jen kiss for the first time under some like ratty old piece of this property that's like overgrown with grossness. Jen's like, ew, gross, and then they kiss.
Yeah, she's like, oh, there's like stuff in my
I got
hair.
stuff in my hair.
It smells weird.
Yeah, it smells weird.
He's like,
this is
he like brushes it out of her hair and like leans in for a kiss.
This is the place where we should have our first kiss.
She's like having an anxiety attack, and he's like leaning in for the kill. She's like, get me out of here.
And then we see Tamara and Pacey kissing again. They've kissed like hundreds of times.
Yeah. Well, the kiss that they were having though was a precursor to their first.
Oh, first time having sex, right?
Bone sesh.
Where they didn't call it a bone.
They didn't call it a bone sesh in the 90s. So romantic.
Yeah. Oh, so I feel like we should keep track of all the different ways. Yeah, all the different ways they call jerking off. So in the first episode, it was walk the dog.
These are all Joey terms.
I know, they all come from Joey. So
yeah.
In the first episode, she calls it walking the dog.
Uh-huh.
And then in episode 4, she uses something totally different called flog the bishop.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
I've never heard that before.
I've heard that one. I mean, that's right up there with spanking the monkey. Which she hasn't said yet, but she probably will.
She might. Let's keep track of these things. Flog the bishop and walk the dog.
Walk the dog, I've never heard.
That just sounds dumb.
I feel like the writers made that one up, and then they're like, we slipped that one in. Let's try this other one. Flog the bishop.
I have to admit that as I was watching this in high school, those two terms totally went over my head. I was so naive and like prude in high school.
So you didn't know what... I mean, maybe you hadn't heard the terms, but you didn't know what she meant?
I didn't know what she meant. Because we didn't talk like that. We just said hand job.
Yeah, but you couldn't infer because she was like
I mean,
implying,
I
I guess, you know, like, how many times a day do you walk the dog? Or where do you, I don't know. And then she said something like, oh, in the shower or something. Like, she threw in some context clues.
I mean, I don't remember knowing what she was talking about. I was super naive in high school, even as a junior when this show came out. I'm trying to think, when I was a junior, like, what base had I reached with a boy? I think I might have touched a penis. Certainly did not put my mouth around one. I can't let my family hear this.
Trying to come up with something, but I'm like, oh, this sounds like a sensitive topic. Wait, when you say touched, just like a poke? Like, oh,
like, what is this?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, look how it stands up.
Or you, like, did a thing with it.
I might have tried to do a thing with it.
Did Cindy's, like, ball tickle? Too bad this isn't video. Demonstrating the, like, ball juggling.
What did she call it? What does she call it?
I don't know, but there's, like, a song. There's certain songs
yeah,
that she does this thing.
To her booze.
Yeah. Poor booze.
Poor booze.
Oh, maybe they like it. Who knows? It's like not a juggle. It's like a
Tap them balls is what she says.
tap.
Okay.
All right, so all the kissing is out of the way.
All the kissing's out of the way. Oh, so episode 4 is when Dawson finds out. Is when Dawson finds out about his mom having an affair.
Oh yeah, so they go to his mom's TV station to, like, record some audio or something for his movie.
Yes.
And they step out in the hallway to take a break, and then his mom is, like, down the other end of the hallway, just, like, kissing her
also in the
coworker.
hallway.
Yeah, at their work.
In the hallway.
Other people can see, and he just, like, gives her a kiss, casual kiss, like, goodbye. Like, what are you doing? Like, maybe everybody at the radio station or the TV station is, like, knows about it? It seems dumb. And she doesn't even look. Like, he goes in for a kiss, she doesn't even look to see who's around, because if she had just looked to her left, she would have seen her son staring at her with his mouth hanging open. And instead, she just plants one on this guy and walks away. Like, no clue that
Dawson is there.
Yeah,
which she did know.
Yeah, she knew he was coming around.
Going to be there.
It seems so stupid. Like, she wanted to get caught, except I don't think that the writing was that sophisticated.
Yeah, I feel like the writing was off there a little bit. Because if I were her and I knew that my son was somewhere in the building, I would have been on more alert, like higher alert.
Yeah, at least, you know.
Or at least, like,
look to your left.
Go into an office and do it.
Just look to your left. just scan the perimeter before you do a thing that you shouldn't be doing. That's all.
Maybe she wanted to get caught.
Maybe she wanted to get caught.
Yeah. Right, so Dawson's at a loss. He runs to Joey for help. Jen, like, reaches out and to him and says, if you ever want to talk, I know we haven't, like, talked about anything serious, but this is pretty serious, so if you want to talk, I'm here. And instead he runs to Joey.
Yeah, cut to him going to Joey.
Yeah.
It's a little foreshadowing.
Right. Totally is, I think.
Yeah.
Totally is. This is also the episode where all of the women in Dawson's life let him down. He finds out that his mom's cheating on his dad. Mm-hmm. He finds out that Joey knew about the affair and didn't tell him, so she's been lying to him.
And he, when he finds this out, goes super dramatic and, like, breaks off their friendship.
Yeah, basically says, like, I don't know if we're friends anymore. And then he also finds out that Jen's a turbo slut.
Damn. So we find out why Jen has come from New York to live with Grams, and why she's so willing to do this. Yeah, apparently she just, like, got sucked into that New York life and started, like, drinking, and then some older guy, we don't know how old he is, hopefully he's not 42.
She's 12.
Yeah, like, gets her drunk and has sex with her. She's 12. 12.
And then from that moment on, she spirals out of control, drinking a lot, blacking out a lot, and I guess having sex a lot. And I feel like even then, I mean, we know that in episode 5, she tells Dawson even more. So even at that point, she's not telling Dawson the whole entire truth of her sexual escapades.
Right. So Dawson...
So she's still holding back a little bit.
Yeah, she leaves out some of the details. She's just like, oh, I partied too much and I was with too many men. And Dawson was like, you said you were a virgin and you're not a virgin? And she's like, no, I'm not actually a virgin. And then he is devastated.
He is very devastated.
He had the whole sort of like Virgin Mother Madonna complex with her. He wants her to like, you know, be all pure.
I mean, this even goes back to the first kiss. I mean, he's like created this idea of Jen and is holding her up to some weird standard that she hasn't even like has given him no cause to for him to do that.
It's his own fantasy.
It's his own creation.
And when she doesn't live up to his idea of her, then he
blames her.
Yeah, he's pissed at her, which is typical man behavior. But not typical teenage boy behavior to like be butthurt that the object of his desire is not a virgin. I feel like most teenage guys would be like, oh, she's experienced in some way.
Most guys would be like, okay, she'll know what to do with my penis.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let her run the show, do all the work.
Which is what most men do
anyways.
anyways.
She's not just gonna poke it with her finger and call it a day. Some weird ball tap. But
yeah,
I think they sort of draw the correlation later because he has found out about his mother's infidelity, and then he finds out that Jen is like not the
virginal girl that she's supposed to be,
and his worldview just like collapses. His little tiny little worldview collapses in on himself, and he just doesn't know what to do about it. And then there's a huge hurricane.
Right. Episode 5 is the hurricane season. I this is one episode that I do remember because this is such a classic, I feel, a classic setup where a major tragedy happens that brings people together who you wouldn't normally find together.
Yeah.
So everyone congregates at Dawson's house. So Grams and Jen are in the same house with Joey's sister Bessie, and Bessie's baby daddy, Bodie. That's his name, Bodie. Bodie and Bessie. Yeah, they're all in the same house together, and everyone knows how everyone feels about each other.
Yeah, Grams is like pretty vocal in her racism towards...
For someone who's supposed to be so religious and of strong faith, she's supremely judgmenal and closed-minded.
You obviously haven't encountered Southern Baptists in Virginia.
No, I haven't. I mean, all I knew of Southern Baptists is that they don't drink in public. I mean, I know, which I was very shocked about. I went to my friend's wedding who is Baptist, and we went to the reception, and I went with my mom because we were family friends for a super long time. I knew the bride, and her and I had known each other since we were like 5. And we go to the reception, and we look for the bar, and I'm like, Mom, where's the beer and wine? She's like, these are Baptists. They don't drink in public. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, we're waiting for the bride and groom to show up, and then we're out of here. And that's exactly what we did. And then I think maybe my mom went and had a drink somewhere. You can't go to a wedding and not have alcohol.
Some people do it, and I don't understand. I don't understand any party without alcohol. But yeah, Southern Baptists won't drink in public because they're like representatives of the Lord. So they'll do it in private because no one can see what you're doing.
As a wedding, you're an invited guest. So why wouldn't that be considered a private event?
It should be, yeah. If everybody there is Southern Baptist, I don't know.
I guess maybe that was it too. Maybe they knew there'd be like it wasn't all just people of their faith. It was other people.
Yeah,
But
they were having
it's
some
funny
weird...
because they think that they're going to get judged for drinking in public, and I judge them for not drinking in public.
They're worried about being judged by the Lord. They're not worried about you.
Oh.
They don't care what you think.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Right, so I call it the hurricane episode. I don't know what the actual name of the episode is called, but yeah. So not a lot happens between the racist, righteous grandmother and the
what?
the white baby mama and the black baby daddy.
Yeah, I mean, she disapproves on two levels, and it's not necessarily that she's racist. I think this is how she explains it. She just doesn't approve of an interracial couple, and the fact that she's like pregnant out of wedlock. So she just that's her issue with them, and she makes it known, and then they're like, well, shut it. And in this
particular episode, though, I feel like she makes another point because she says, you know what I don't approve of? I don't approve of babies having babies. So she's also saying that these people are too young to be having children.
Even though they're like 26 or something?
I mean, right. I'm assuming they're in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of young, but not socially unacceptable young.
Yeah. And so that was like a different spin on her disapproval of their relationship.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then Bessie's like, black or white, I don't care. This baby's going to be 100% loved. She told Grams what was up.
Yeah, well, she also told Bodhi that they weren't getting the kids circumcised. At the beginning of that episode, they're having like an argument about it.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a whole other political topic.
And as far as we know, right, they don't base it on anything. Like,
no, it's not. It has nothing to do with religion.
I mean, it
doesn't
anything.
Unless you're Jewish.
Jewish, right? And then we would say, okay, then Bodhi's Jewish, which
no, he's
most likely not true.
But the funny thing is, she does not want to have the kid circumcised because she feels like it's a form of genital mutilation, which she's correct on. But he does, even though he's got a penis, but he's just like, oh, I don't miss the foreskin. But you know what? You don't know because
he's never known.
You don't know. You should maybe talk to a dude who has all his foreskin.
He's never known about the joys of having foreskin.
Joys of foreskin.
So we just get a hint of how Bessie and Bodhi and Grams are going to overcome their differences. Pacey is actually nowhere to be found in Dawson's house. He is riding along with his brother, who is a police officer.
Did we meet his brother before this?
Did we? I don't think we have.
I
think this is the first time we're meeting Pacey's brother.
So, like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Pacey has, like, a 26-year-old hot cop brother.
He's 24.
24.
He's 24, about to be 25.
10 years older than Pacey. Cop.
Right.
Who Pacey is trying to convince his brother
that he's gay.
That he's gay. And his brother's like, I'm not gay, just fucking drop it.
Because he has a lot of show tune CDs and Barbra Streisand.
I mean, that's such a cliche.
This is a cliche.
God.
So they're running around the town because as a police officer, it's his duty to prepare the town or help prepare the town for the oncoming hurricane.
Yeah, they're like pulling like umbrellas off the beach or something.
Right, yeah. And they're setting down these weird black flags, which I don't understand what the black flags do.
Oh, I think it just means don't go swimming in the ocean during a hurricane.
Oh, all right.
You need a flag for that. You need a wiry little spindly flag for that because it's not going to get sucked out of the sand.
How do those flags even stay in the sand?
It's stupid that they even put those flags down. They're just going to turn into projectiles. You guys don't go swimming.
So, of course, there has to be conflict going on with Pacey. And his conflict in this episode is that they somehow get stranded at Tamara's house. Right off the bat, or pretty soon, Pacey tells Tamara that his brother's gay.
Well, yeah, so his brother starts, like, flirting with her because
Right.
his brother, of course, has no idea that his 15-year-old brother is having an affair with this, like, 30, 40-something-year-old woman. So he starts flirting with her because they're helping her, like, secure her house and, like, bring all her Adirondack chairs in from the porch. And
He flirts with her by traditional flirting methods, but then he also tries to flirt with her by putting Pacey down and calling him, like, the embarrassment to the family, which I was like, God, that's... I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's super great when guys try to impress other people by
putting someone else down.
Yeah, build themselves up. It's a great tactic that no one ever sees through, ever. Yeah. So when the cop brother, Pacey's brother, like, goes to the bathroom or something, he tells Tamara that, like, he's a closet case, and she's
which
like,
is supposed to be. He doesn't just come out and say my brother's gay. He's a closet case.
yeah, meaning
He's in the closet.
Yeah, that he won't admit to himself or others that he's gay, but he's obviously gay. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And so then Pacey's brother tries to ask her out. And she's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, well, we'll go out, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll make, like, a date of it. And she's like,
I'll make a really romantic date.
And she's like, well, it won't be a real date. And he's like, what do you mean, why not? And she's like, well, because you're gay. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, it's okay, I can tell. I have really good gaydar.
And then he pulls out a gun on Pacey. He pulls out his gun, his work gun, his police officer gun.
His work gun. The gun that they gave him when he got that job. Sometimes you get a new job, you get, like, a laptop or a cell phone.
He gets a gun. He's a cop. It has to be work issued, right?
It's his work gun. It's just it's not like his work BlackBerry. It's his work gun. It's his personal gun.
Which also would be another superb way to convince a woman to go on a date with you. Let's just pull out a gun on someone.
On your kid brother.
On your kid brother, no less.
Because you're pissed that your kid brother told some 40-year-old woman that
you're gay.
That you're gay because he was jealous of your flirting.
Ugh. The whole thing is messed up.
It was ridiculous. Because later, he apologizes and she's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, whatever. They pull out a gun. It's crazy.
I think another thing that happens in this episode is Dawson is grappling with whether or not to tell his mom that he knows that she's having an affair, or to just go straight to his dad and say, Mom's having an affair.
So that's, like, a really shitty idea.
To tell Dad.
Yeah.
Right.
So I struggle with this one a little bit because, like, it's not any of his business, but, like, maybe it kind of is because it is his parents.
It is his parents.
But, yeah, you should never go and, like, tell the other person. You confront the person who's, like, doing the bad thing.
Well, and also because he caught her. He caught her red-handed kissing that other man.
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, even though those are his parents, it's maybe an actual adult situation that he should not involve himself with.
Yeah.
Maybe just accept to say, like, yo, Mom, I saw you kissing the milkman or the co-anchor.
Yeah.
He goes through all these metaphors as a way of telling her. Like, he says in the beginning, he starts talking to his mom and saying, my dad's a really great guy. And she's like, yeah, he is. He's really great. He compares Bob to the hurricane as he's, like, leaving. So he tells Mom, like, my dad's a really great guy. He's the best. And she's agreeing with him. And then he leaves the room because he's going outside to like, clear out their porch as well. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go finish up outside getting things ready for Hurricane Bob. And Mom's like, it's Hurricane Chris. And Dawson's like, oh, right. Chris is the hurricane. Bob's the co-anchor. Because the metaphor is Hurricane Bob is going to ruin their family.
Yeah.
And then the second metaphor he drops is the Scarlet Letter, which is a more explicit way of telling her that he knows by using the Scarlet Letter reference. his mom tries to talk to him.
Yeah, she
tries to explain herself to him, which I think is unnecessary. Like, it's bullshit, whatever her reasons are. Her reasons do end up being bullshit.
Yeah, because later she does sort of explain herself, but she has no reason.
She has no reason.
She just did it because she felt like it.
She did it because, yes. I mean, how she explained it was, I'd gotten everything I wanted since I was 6 years old. I married the man of my dreams. I have a beautiful family. I have a somewhat okay career. Although she says she loves her career, even though she's not Barbara Walters, which is what her ultimate dream was. But she says she gave up to have a family and stick around Capeside. And that her life was so perfect and so on track that she wanted for nothing. And she just wanted that feeling of wanting something. And so that meant finding another man. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's a little cliche. Your life is perfect, so you need to
So you need to create drama for yourself?
Yeah, you need to mix it up. Nothing's ever gone wrong, so you just don't know how to. You don't have any struggles to compare it to, so you're I just gotta do a thing.
Co-anchor Bob.
Or your life is so perfect that you're just bored. So again, you gotta mix it up.
In this episode, in episode 5, Dawson's dad doesn't really deal with it. He's in shock. They obviously don't get into it right there and then.
Yeah, he gets mad and he gets in the car and drives away.
Drives off in a hurricane.
During the hurricane.
Yeah. We don't know where he goes. We don't see that. They don't show us where he goes or what he does.
Just drives to the end of town and back. I mean, where is he going to go? In a little town.
Yeah. So that happens. And then the storm is over. And we get to see what the wreckage is in the light of day.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Some stuff knocked over.
Everyone's wicker furniture was fine.
Yeah, Adirondack chairs everywhere.
But this is when, after the hurricane, and the next day, this is when Jen really gets into all the nasty shit she did in New York. How she had sex a lot, and sometimes she used a condom and sometimes she didn't. After she had a pregnancy scare, she tried birth control, but then Dawson is okay with it.
Did he leave it that way though? I mean, I guess.
Yeah, he was like, I am ashamed of the way I reacted. I'm sorry for how I acted. Because even after she tells him all this stuff, she's like, I'm here in Capeside so I can start over. This is my chance to have a fresh start, and I want you to be a part of it. And Dawson's like, only if you'll have me.
Ugh. Well, okay.
And then they hug it out. And so Mitch, Dawson's hot dad, comes back from wherever he went. Hashtag hot dad. And that's when, like we've already mentioned, that's when his mom, I don't even know his mom's name. Is it Linda? Victoria's gonna look it up.
I gotta look it up now.
And that's where she explains to her husband that she just was bored. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to, right? She was bored.
Yeah. She was bored. Things were going well, and
things were going too well, too fine.
Mix it up a little bit.
The ride was too smooth. She needed to fuck shit up.
She needed to ruin her marriage and her career. That's all. Because we don't hear what happens next, but presumably she's got to quit.
I mean, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's will come in the next.
Gail.
Oh, Gail. Mitch and Gail. The episode ends with, it's just back to Dawson and Joey again. And they talk about... Oh, and so Dawson and Joey also kind of mend their friendship. Dawson apologizes to Joey for how he acted. Mm-hmm. And...
I was worried there for a minute that they were just going to be enemies forever.
Were you?
Yeah, I thought that was it. And then the rest of the show is going to be about how they hate each other.
Sadly, no. They mend their friendship. And it ends with them going into the closet together. because that's apparently where, when they were kids, they would reenact a scene from Jaws.
In the closet?
In a closet. Yeah, I have to admit, I've never seen Jaws. And I can't imagine, and having not seen Jaws, I can't imagine that there's a scene that would require them to be in the closet in the dark in order to reenact it.
No, that's where they go so that she can poke his penis. To ball tap.
Penis pokes and ball taps.
That's what they're doing in there. Because there is no scene in Jaws. Because I think what I hear them is like they're screaming like they're on the beach. I don't know why they have to go in the closets.
Yeah, why are they? I don't understand the closet.
Little kids play in closets or something, and they're trying to like be innocent one last time.
Right. Yeah. All this drama that has occurred in Dawson's life requires him to regress a little bit, to kind of remove himself from his current life and go back to simpler times, in which Dawson and Joey hold themselves up in a closet together.
So they do that. It's not weird at all.
No, it's not weird. It's not weird at all that sometimes Joey just goes into Dawson's closet for no reason or for weird reasons. And then Dawson's like, what are you doing in here? He's always like, what are you doing in here?
Oh, yeah, every time he walks into his room and she's there, and she's like, bitch, I climbed in your window because you leave a ladder outside your window. It's not even like climbed up the trellis or something. There's like an actual like metal ladder.
Yeah, there's a ladder.
Propped up against the side of the house so that expressly for the purpose of her climbing in and out of his window.
Yep. Which Grams does not agree with.
No, Grams hates that. Grams
because
hates
she knows that Joey's poking his penis and tapping his balls.
In his closet.
While
they reenact scenes from Jaws. Weird.
Weirdos. Okay. All right. Did we talk about everything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. Pacey manipulates Tamara. New guy plays violin. Oh, we didn't talk about the film teacher being gay. I didn't see that one.
Oh, yeah. The film teacher's gay.
Dawson tries to film his first kiss with Jen. Why? Just kiss already?
Hey, you sound like Joey.
Leaves camera on and catches Pacey and Tamara. He tells Dawson, trouble in New York for Jen started with a kiss, ? Oh, yeah, that's what Graham says. Grams and Jen butt heads over Dawson. Thinks she'll get pregnant. Grams thinks that like Dawson's your typical teenage boy that just wants one thing, which is to bone.
And it's weird because Dawson does want to bone. It's kind of weird. Dawson wants to bone, but I guess it's the fact that his parents are like super horny makes him not want to have sex.
Yeah, it also gives him this weird view of sex, like it's the measurement of happiness or something. And maybe that's what his issue was when he finds out that Jen has like had all this like meaningless sex, that she's like ruined that view or like had some kind of weird happiness or bond with somebody else, or doesn't view sex as a way to bond with somebody and just as a thing to do when you're like blackout drunk, which it's both those things. So Dawson just hasn't figured that out yet.
Pacey's character also has a weird thing about that part of Dawson's issue. So there is a scene where Dawson and Pacey, they're in the video store, they're working, and Pacey's trying to explain to Dawson, like, what you have, or what Jen has told you about herself, gives you the green light to... I couldn't quite understand his argument.
Yeah, so I think he sort of saw it as more like typical teenage boy, or at least what I think of as typical teenage boy. So, like, Dawson's, upset that she's not this, like, pristine, puritanical virgin. And Pacey sees it as, like, her just being this, like...
Experience.
Super experienced, DTF, ready to go. She's
like, she'll show you some stuff?
Yeah, like, she's basically been like, you know what, I'm actually not a virgin. I'm a huge slut. And so Pacey's like, this, you're in.
She's easy.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he was trying to say, right?
Yeah.
She's easy. She's a sure thing.
But Pacey also...
But then Pacey also...
He has a different perspective because apparently he likes mature, experienced women because he's dating a 40-year-old teacher. 40.
But then he also gets upset thinking about Tamara with other people. I mean, that's basic jealousy right there.
Yeah,
something we all go through, feel, struggle with.
Well, they're like doing crossword puzzles in bed together, some weird shit. Because they've been together
they're an old married couple.
Yeah, because they've been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
He asks her about like her previous relationships. He doesn't ask her explicitly about her sexual partners because he knows that she's probably had a few, but he wants to know about her serious relationships. And she's like, well, there's been like 3. She's like, there was
one guy in high school.
Yeah, one in college, and you know, one more recent. And he's like, oh. And she's like, about the guy in high school.
About the guy in high school?
I didn't say he went to my high school. So basically,
Gross.
she's told him that she's had a series of serious relationships in her life, and that he is one of them.
He's one of them.
This 40-year-old woman is now in a serious relationship with a 15-year-old boy. She ranks this high on the list of the...
meaningful relationships in her life.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's weird. I don't think it lasts very long, though.
I do remember thinking in high school, as I was watching this show, I didn't really think ew, gross when I was watching it.
I'm thinking it because I am about the same age as this character and actress. And I think about myself having a thing with a 15-year-old. I mean, maybe it would depend on the 15-year-old, but not one that looks like Pacey. He's like a baby-faced little kid. He's not like... There's some 15-year-olds now that are like all buff and...
I have to see if I
whatever.
can find this. See if I can find this thing. Because I saved it because I was like, that's so true. Oh, here it is. I'm at that age where a 22-year-old guy is looking kind of good, but so is his dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
Well, they say that the age of the guy that you are sexually attracted to. I've heard this. I don't know how true. It's probably varies for everybody, but they say that it doesn't change as you get older. Like if you're, 18, you're attracted to like, I don't know, 15 to 20-year-olds or whatever. They say that doesn't like change as you age; it expands.
Oh,
so
okay.
that as you get older, you become attracted to men who are your age and a little bit older, but you're still attracted to those young guys.
It's true. It's already happened to me.
Really? You hooked up with a 15-year-old?
No! God! No!
Okay, just checking in.
When I was 34, I started developing a crush on an 18-year-old.
Wow.
18, 19-year-old, yeah. We worked together, and he was, I think it was because, well, a lot of it was because he was young and virile and strong, and he worked in like the warehouse part. This is when I shouldn't even really, I don't know if I can put this on here, but I worked as a photo assistant, and I was working in a warehouse. I was working in the home division of a department store, shooting the home goods. And he worked in the warehouse part, meaning if we needed a heavy piece of furniture, he, along with his, other strong, strapping young boys, would bring it on set for us.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so he's this, like, young, strong.
He was probably, like, pretty built.
He's built.
Is he tall?
He was not super tall. He was maybe, like, 5'9".
All right, well.
But he was built. And he flirted back with me. Like, we flirted with each other all the time. And even, like, the other people on set, like, the other photographers and photo assistants, like, caught on to our flirtation. And then started teasing me about it, that I was crushing on this young kid.
Yeah. But he's 18.
He's legal. He was legal.
There is I
even made sure that before I flirted with him, that he was of age.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm not going to mess with that.
Some 15-year-old.
15-year-old.
So there is a difference, I think, between 15 and 18. Like, there's not a difference between, like, 35 and 38. But there's a difference between 15 and 18. Because you're, like, essentially going through puberty. So there's some 18-year-olds that are men. And there's some that are, like, boys. So, and I feel like Pacey is a boy. So it's not like he's even...
His character is a boy, for sure.
Yeah, it's not even like he's a 15-year-old that's, like, passable as, like, a man. His character is very boyish. He looks boyish. He acts boyish. He's a boy, which is why I think this kind of freaks me out, this relationship. Because I think of myself with that kind of child. And it's gross. It
grosses me out.
It's different than if it was like an 18-year-old man. Just happened to be like good at like moving stuff around.
As a 37-year-old woman, not that I come in contact with a lot of 15 and 16-year-olds, but I don't even think I would be attracted to a 15-year-old.
No.
Like, I mean, they barely started on their way to being men. So
right.
They're just not even...
Physically and, like, intellectually.
Yeah.
They're children.
Yeah.
And, like, that's, like, a really awkward age. Plus, I think most teenagers are kind of assholes in general.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But that's how normal 15-year-olds are.
Yeah.
They're assholes. They're gross. They're inappropriate. They're rude. They're lewd. They don't give a shit about anyone but themselves.
Well, they're still kids. They're bullies.
They're bullies.
They don't have that, I don't know, your power of reasoning isn't fully formed until you're 25, and your whatever part of your brain that causes you to like have like fear or like not regret, what's the word I'm looking for,
not thinking before you talk.
Yeah, like a filter, like a self-checking mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
There's a word for it. It probably begins with an I and ends with a ION. Something shouldn't.
Totally know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, so kids don't have that. So they just like do whatever they want without thinking. The area of your brain that continues to mature through young adulthood is responsible for the sort of self-control that helps you make thoughtful decisions, delay gratification, rein in risk-taking. Does not mean that young adults are incapable of making good decisions or that they have no control over themselves. What it means is that they must work harder than mature adults to stay focused and make responsible choices and avoid risky behaviors. So that's what I was describing, but there's a word for it.
There's one word for it?
I'm going to think of it like in the middle of the night, and then I'm going to text you the word.
All right, well, you think of that word. Text me in the middle of the night if you have to.
There's something we didn't talk about.
Oh, wait, yeah. What did...
He gets his panties in a twist, and he's like, isn't anybody monogamous anymore? And, like, and then I'm like, you've never even had sex, so I feel like you can't really talk about monogamy and, like, the virtues of monogamy when you haven't even had sex or been in a long-term relationship. You don't know what you're talking about at all. Not one bit. Not one bit.
Wait, where is this? I'm trying to look through my notes, too, because... Oh, right. Are you talking about when Dawson and his mom talk about the affair?
I think it's when he's talking to... No, he's talking to Jen. And that's what I have in my notes. About monogamy to Jen, even though he's never had sex or been in a long-term relationship.
Oh. So, I don't remember that part.
I think it must have been... I think after he found out... Because he was with Jen when they were at the TV station, and he sees his mom... kissing Bob, and so then it cuts to the next scene, and like him and Jen are like on the pier,
yeah,
in
they're
the
sitting
park.
on a bench,
yeah, and she's like, and he's just like pouting, and she's like, if you want to like unload on me, you can. And then the next scene, he's like running to Joey and like unloading on her, and then he figures out that she already knew, and then he's pissed that she didn't tell him, and she's like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, because I don't know, you'd be upset. I didn't know what to tell you. It didn't seem like any of my business. I don't know. And so then he's like, well, we're not friends anymore. And then
oh, right. Well, because Joey's like, why would I tell you? Because if I told you that I knew, then you'd be upset at me for telling you.
Yeah.
Right. And so Joey makes it sound like she's protecting herself a little bit.
So then, yeah.
However, Dawson's going to overreact to it.
So he's pissed at her. So then he goes back to Jen and, like, unloads on her.
And he says, like, promise me that you'll just be honest with me, Jen. Like,
yeah. And
all I want is honesty. And
so then she's like, okay. Well,
and then she gives a little glimpse to her slutty past life.
Yeah. And then he's like, just kidding. I don't want any honesty.
So you mentioned in the last podcast about how these young teenagers seem to be imparting all sorts of wisdom on the adults. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Dawson does it again when he's talking to his mom. So Dawson's mom, what's her name again? Gail. Is trying to talk to Dawson and trying to explain to him what's going on and why she's having an affair. And Dawson's like, you know what? What you should be doing, this is what she tells his mom, what you should be doing is talking to your husband about this. So he's like showing his mom like, what's up?
I mean, he's not wrong there.
He's not wrong there,
But if I ever told my mom what she should be doing, it would not go over well.
Or that even as a 15-year-old that you would know what the right thing to do would be. Like if you... I'm trying to remember myself as a 15-year-old kid. If I ever found one of my parents cheating on the other, like I wouldn't know what to do. Or I wouldn't know what the right thing would be.
Yeah.
It's like you said, our brains are not fully formed yet. We don't know how to process major life events, life changes to a full degree.
And I was hoping for more out of his mom too, because she's like, oh, I have my reasons, and I really wanted her to have, like, not that there's like a really really good valid reason, but I wanted her to like explain about some kind of legitimate crisis that she was having, or like some kind of complication with the dad, like some adult scenario that was way over his head, and I wanted her to fucking lay it down for him, and instead she's just like, I don't know.
She's just selfish.
Yeah.
She just is being selfish. Oh, here's another like piece of wisdom that would not be known or be aware to a 15-year-old person. So at the very end, when Jen is really laying it all out there about her dirty, horrible past, scandalous past, that she says to Dawson that she was sexualized way too young. She says the words, "I was sexualized way too young, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody."
Her point, I guess, was that she said that he was an older man that got her drunk. We don't know how old.
We don't know how old. That's true. Yeah, I mean,
and then I don't know. Maybe
the whole experience of being tossed out of her parents' house and being sent to her grandparents was context enough for her to know that what happened shouldn't have happened.
Right. But yeah, the words that she uses.
But for her to articulate it that way,
she articulates a lot, because she's butting heads with Grams about like religion and stuff. But she's always being like kind of level-headed about it. Like she's not just like having like a bratty screaming match with her grandmother. She's like,
which is what would happen with a 15-year-old. Yeah,
she's like trying to like lay out some like rationale with her. Or like bargain with her in like an adult way. So I think she's supposed to be presented as like the sophisticated girl from New York who also got drug into some very unsophisticated scenarios. Like, I don't know, maybe her parents sent her to therapy and her therapist taught her all this vocabulary that she's using. Because that's what she seems to be doing. A lot of like bargaining and reasoning and like...
Yeah,
adult interpersonal negotiation tactics that 15-year-olds should know about.
I mean, teenagers are pretty manipulative, but this is a whole other level of sophisticated manipulation that Jen's working.
Well, maybe she learned it in New York, because she's from New York, and
New Yorkers move fast.
Yeah.
They grow up faster. I can't remember. I don't know if we should end podcasts or not. I guess we should have an ending. Yeah, we end it by opening up another drink.
All right, now we're going to split a spiked cider. I'm doing a big bike ride tomorrow, so I promised myself I wouldn't get drunk, but I'm feeling it because I just drank half a bottle of wine.
Good luck on your bike ride tomorrow. All right, guys, so we'll be back next week where we will continue on with season 1. Next week will be episodes 3. No.
Nope.
I've had some drinks too.
We've already done 3 through 5. 6 through
Episodes
9.
6 through 9. Episodes. Wait, that's 4 episodes, right?
6, 7, 8.
6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
We've done our goodbyes. Bye.
Bye.